We're looking at Gold Star Potentilla here. I planted them quite tight. I wanted to create a little mini hedge effect, and I've been cutting them back every season to about 12 inches, and it's worked out beautifully. The foliage is fresh, the flowers are gorgeous. It's getting a little competition from this Montgomery spruce in the backdrop, but we've still got several years, I think, where we have to worry about that encroachment problem. So it's an easy enough step. Take out the hedge shears, and we'll just prune off last year's growth. Potentillas, which is also called shrubby cinquefoil, I've had mixed results cutting them back. I've got Summer Dawn, Dakota Sunspot, Goldfinger Potentillas. Throughout the yard, when I've cut them back the same way, occasionally only half of it comes back. So again, unpredictable with the Potentillas. They usually rejuvenate quite well. So rejuvenation, good thing. Definitely shearing off last year's growth, also a very good thing. And this Potentilla, what a great plant for late summer into fall bloom. Gorgeous yellow. We're looking at a Dakota Sunspot Potentilla here, and this has been a really nice shrub over the years, but last year we cut this thing back, you know, about like we normally do. We took out about half the growth, and that encourages that new foliage, new flowering, but we only got about 50% of the plant to come back, so there's a lot of dead growth in there. And unfortunately, this has become a little bit more of a shaded area here. It's contending with this North Pole arborvitae, some summer wine 9-barks getting pretty big on the backside. We've also got a Russian olive behind us here that, you know, that thing's starting to cast some shade. So Potentillas, they need some sun, you know, to do well, and that might well be, the problem with this thing. So we're going to cut it back all the way to the ground this time, and this will be, you know, kind of the Hail Mary. If it doesn't come back from that base, we know that it is a plant in decline, and we'll probably have to take it out and put something else in here. And likely, we'll pick something that's a little bit more shade tolerant. This is another little Potentilla. I believe it's Mandarin. It might be tangerine. I'm gonna look it up for you. We'll flash it across the screen there. But this is new growth from last year. You can see where we cut it back to about 6 to 8 inches. A little bit younger plant. I'm going to leave the seed heads on this one. I sometimes like how that new growth comes through here. In all likelihood, it'll probably leaf out and just have a couple inches that are dead. Maybe at that time we'll clip off some of these spent flower heads. But it does add a little bit of interest, and that's just my personal preference. The Potentillas, there's native Potentillas out in the Badlands of North Dakota, which, by the way, if you haven't been to the Badlands, beautiful area. Make sure you visit it sometime. If you'll notice closely here, we've got the seed heads that are left over from the flower from last year. I actually find it a little bit decorative. What'll happen is this is going to start leafing out, and this will just stay kind of on the tips. And I kind of enjoy that. The Potentillas can either be beautiful or they can just be downright ugly. But Potentillas, they've got a place in the landscape. They've come back into favor a little bit more recently. I think it used to be a standard, 20, 30 years ago. Potentillas were everywhere, and I think most people are familiar with them. They've got that yellow flower, midsummer. I mean, for crying out loud, I think they bloom almost 8 to 10 weeks. So they do have some extra special interest in the landscape. I might just touch up just a couple little spots here and there. Right, so in an earlier video I had mentioned I was just going to leave the tops on the Potentilla. This one, I've decided I am just going to shear it lightly just to take off those seed heads. You'll notice I tend to go around the sides first. I also hold that shears upside down, just a little bit more natural angle. Now I'll flip back to the more natural angle. There you go, I don't think that took more than 60 seconds. Done deal.